go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon. Good evening. Welcome to Sigh of Relief. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me is Kiya. Kiya, what's going on? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Nice Sunday, beautiful day. How's your
All
weekend
right.
going?
Weekend's been a good weekend so far. You know, it's NBA playoffs, so I've been watching a lot of basketball.
I don't
And
know
so,
that.
yeah, well, I'm letting you know it's NBA playoffs for the next month and a half until like, I think mid June. NBA playoffs will be going on. And then, of course, the championship game. So I've been enjoying that. I think there was a tornado warning last night around here. Um,
Oh,
I didn't know. I was watching basketball. Um, yeah, so that's about it. I went out Friday night. I was in the streets Friday night. So, you know,
where'd you
being a
go?
city boy. So I went to this like rooftop spot here in the city. I started drizzling a little bit, but it wasn't bad. So, I had a few drinks, listened to the DJ, came home and went to sleep.
You made some friends?
Uh, New friends or old
Hmm.
friends?
New
Yeah,
friends.
I made some new friends. Yeah,
Oh, good. Good.
right. I still got some
That's
old
always
friends
good.
there. Yeah, I got. It's funny because some of the friends that I've known for over 10 years, a lot of them live here.
Mm-hmm.
We just happen to meet in other cities, but a lot of them live here, and I've known them for over a decade. So that's always
Mm-hmm.
good to have some people around that you've known for 10, 15 years.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to obviously make new friends too. I
Hmm.
think some people obviously struggle with being in new cities and
Hmm.
meeting new people. So that's good that you're able to go out and mingle.
Meet new people. Yeah, definitely. And as you age, as you get older, it's just hard to meet people you trust. Because you get older. Some people they just want to go out every weekend. Some people they want to go out every weekend and they ain't got no money. Some people want you to pay. It's just like what? Like some people are just not responsible. Oh, so you want other people to pay, or you don't want to pay for yourself?
I want men to pay. Women, no,
Yeah,
but men,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's if I invite somebody out, I expect to pay. And it's
Even
so
if
funny
I
because
invite you out, I want you to pay. I'm just saying.
oh no. No. It depends what kind of relationship it is. Like I've had friends in the past. I remember one girl when I was in college. She invited me out, and she invited me out and expected me to pay. I was so
Oh
confused.
yeah,
It's like, why you want me to pay, but you invited me to lunch? No,
I feel like that's fair.
that's not fair. Now, if I invited her out, yeah, I'll pay. If we're just friends, we gonna go
Oh, if
Dutch.
it's
Like
just
we're just
friends, yeah,
friends. Yeah.
yeah.
So.
If you're just friends, yeah. But I don't know. I have a lot of guy friends.
Mhm,
They're strictly just friends. We've been friends for years, and
mhm.
they put the bill. So I'm just
Right.
saying.
Right. And sometimes I don't mind rotating. Like, I've hung out with you
Mm,
and in a group setting or whatever. I don't mind buying the first round of
yeah.
drinks if I know somebody else is going to pick up the next round. I mean, it's a group setting. I'm not about to sit around and argue over a $15 cocktail, so I'll just pay for it.
Oh no. Yeah. I don't think anybody in our friend group is arguing over a $15
Some
cocktail,
people
but
they keeping tabs, they writing down. I
that's
paid
true.
last time, so it's like, yeah, I don't need to hang with this person. I don't
Yeah,
need to
no,
hang with
that's
this
true.
person. Cool.
Well, good.
How are
I'm glad
you?
that you went out.
Right. How are you enjoying being back home? I know it's always feels good to sleep in your own bed.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I feel like people it's a little bit underrated, but everybody's happy to get home to their own bed. I'm also happy to
Mhm.
get back to my own bathroom.
Right.
There's just something weird about using the bathroom after other people. And I mean the shower, the sink, not
Mhm.
just, doing other stuff.
Yeah.
But
So yeah. So one of my
but
friends
yeah.
actually said something about that when we were traveling. I think I was traveling with him last year, and he said he just felt funny about using a restroom or bathroom in a hotel or in somebody else's house. He said it's hard to go to
Agreed.
the restroom, and I didn't really think about it, but it is. I came home. I'm
Yeah.
always researching stuff, and I came home and I did some research, and a lot of people have a difficult time using a restroom if it's not theirs.
Yeah.
And so,
I think it depends because I think I told you this. I actually got sick. I got food poisoning the first
right,
day
right.
I was
Yeah, you told me.
there, and I didn't have a choice but to use the bathroom.
Right,
So
right.
Sometimes your body gonna do what it do, but
Yeah.
yeah, I could definitely see at someone else's house. Hotel, I'm kind of
Mhm.
like whatever.
Mhm.
But if I'm in somebody's house, then yeah, it can be weird. You don't want to mess their stuff up. You don't want to use their decorative towels to wipe your hands off with.
Listen. As long as you understand, you don't use the decorative towels. I have decorative towels in my bathroom, and when I go in there and I see somebody use them, I'm like, "Who used my towels? Don't you see how
Because
expensive these towels are?"
some people use those towels to wipe their hands off with. So
Some
you
people
just don't
don't
know.
know they're decorative towels. They don't know. They just see, oh, these towels are so soft and they got names on them, and they just I go in the bathroom, the towels all wrinkled, they're not folded
Yeah.
correctly. I'm like, do not use these
With
decorative towels. So now my decorative towels, they're there, but I have to put like a stack of like paper towels on a counter so people see this big stack of paper
yeah.
towels and don't use my expensive decorative towels. Like, and
I
then I have
just
to hot.
say,
Yeah.
I
I'm
just
sorry.
say, if there's something I don't want somebody to do in my house, I just say, I'm like, I have a thing about not sitting on like my couch or any of my furniture with your
Mhm,
outside clothes on. So I'll give
mhm.
people, which this is extra. I'm very strict, but I'll give people pants. I'm like, you need to put these pants on if you want to sit on this couch. You're not about to bring outside on my couch.
It- it-
If you don't want them
it-
using your towels, tell them.
right,
Use the
right,
napkins.
right,
Don't
right.
use these towels up
Use it
here.
right, right. And it's funny because I don't know how your grandparents were, but I had the grandparents where we had plastic on the sofa. Like,
Yeah.
you came into my grandma's house, it was plastic on the sofa, and only time that plastic came off if we had guests. Like if you came
Hmm.
over, the plastic came off. If it was just
Yeah.
me and grandma and the rest of the family members, the plastic was on the sofa. And if you
And
sat
I
on that
get
sofa,
it.
you sat on that plastic.
I get it. I understand why they were doing that. Because sometimes I look at people's like their videos where they're cleaning and stuff, and I'm like, you need a
Mhm.
new couch. It's time for a new. It looked like a million butts been on that couch, but hey,
Right, right, right.
I
And
I, I get the plastic.
a lot of people don't rotate the pillows on the sofa. So they don't flip them, I guess they call it, like turn it the opposite
Yeah.
direction. So I do
Mhm.
my sofa that way. Every time I like
Mhm.
vacuum the sofa and clean it, I'll rotate
Yeah.
it. But some people don't do it. It's like your mattress on your bed. Like sometimes the mattress has to be, turned a different angle. You need to take the foot and switch it with the head. And it'll tell you that on the label.
I
You
don't
just
do
can't.
that either.
Well, I do that too. I mean, you gotta imagine
I
if
ain't
you got
never
a
did that.
well, some of them labels will say rotate every 6 months, because if you sleep in the same cycle or the same
Yeah.
position for 6 months
Mhm.
and you weigh 240 pounds, there's gonna be a
Yeah.
dip right in that middle of that mattress of that 240-pound body. So
That
yeah,
makes
you
sense.
gotta rotate it. So
I still ain't flipping it, but that makes sense.
it's heavy. It's heavy. It's heavy. And so you know.
So before we jump into anything, I'm actually gonna throw you for a little bit of a loop, if you're
Mhm.
okay with that.
Go ahead.
Um, so obviously, I went on a work trip last
Mhm.
week. So I got back Friday. I heard you
Mhm.
talking about you went out this Friday. So
Mhm.
I have a question for the future viewers.
Mhm.
Um, do you think your friends should tell you happy birthday when it's your birthday?
Yeah. Wait,
I
wait.
think so too.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me double check your
Do
birthday.
you think your friends should have your birthday in their calendar so they remember and they don't forget when your birthday is?
Oh my God! Happy birthday!
We
Happy
need to
belated
answer that
birthday!
chat.
Happy belated birthday! Your birthday was this
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yesterday, I'm throwing you for a loop. Yes.
Calendar, but it didn't send me a reminder.
It's okay. It's not a big deal. But I do actually want to talk about that though.
Mhm.
At what age? Because there's like this topic about on Instagram, like usually when it's somebody's birthday, like friends will do a birthday shout out. I've been
Mhm.
stopped doing birthday shout outs because I know
So
you in
a
real
birthday
life.
shout out
I
is like a group text message.
No. So it's like you're familiar with stories on Instagram, right? Like if you
Yeah,
click someone's picture, then you can
yeah,
watch
and
their
it shows
story.
like a
Okay.
reel or story, whatever. Yeah.
Yes. So people will put like if it was your birthday, I would put a picture of me and you on my story and I'll say, "Oh my gosh, Tony, what a last great 5 years we've had
Hmm.
as friends. I'm wishing you the best on
Hmm.
your journey, blah, blah,
Hmm.
blah, blah, blah. Some
Right, right.
balloons, confetti, that whole thing. So people have been having this conversation about how they don't want to do that anymore. Like they
Mhm,
feel like it's, I don't want to say too much of a burn, but maybe we've
mhm,
just moved on to different times, which I
mhm.
agree. That's not necessary. A simple wishing you the best, happy birthday will
Right.
suffice by text message. Um, but what's your thoughts about like celebrating your friends and making sure that you're there for whatever they deem important, whether that's a birthday, a wedding, a
Mhm.
graduation? Like, what's your opinion on
I think we should celebrate our friends' milestones and accomplishments and anniversaries, birthdays, of course. Don't be a friend like me and tell somebody happy birthday 24 hours later. Um,
that?
if you're gonna have it in your calendar, make sure you have a reminder. And so after this stream, I'll put a reminder so it pops up. So it's funny because my mom's birthday, I think it was this past Monday, and
Oh, she's an
y-
Aries. Love that.
yeah, and my mom is it was on a weekday this year, but she's the type of person that when it's her birthday, she expects a call at like 6 a.m. in the morning. Like the moment she wakes up, she wants everybody to wake up with her and say happy
Uh-huh.
birthday. And so I'm going through my day and I'm working. It's Monday, and happen to look at my phone. I'm like, oh, today's my mom's birthday. So I sent her a text message. I didn't call her because I didn't know if she was at work or
Hmm.
not, but she responded. But I'm not on Instagram like you, social media like you, but the small stuff matters, especially to a lot of women. Like my mom, like birthdays matter, so she wants to be told happy
Hmm.
birthday. You want to be told happy birthday. A lot of people celebrate their birthday not just for one day, but for an entire month, an entire week, entire
Yep.
season. It's my birthday
Yeah.
season. So me, on the other hand, like you don't even have to tell me happy birthday,
You kind
and
of
I'm
like
not even
whatever. Yeah.
I'm not even gonna tell you it's my birthday, and I'm just gonna try to sneak through the crack without somebody saying it to me all day because I don't want to. I don't want the attention. I don't want to be at a restaurant
Yeah.
and somebody brings a cake and it's balloons and it's
Hmm.
sparklers and everybody in the hall, the restaurant is like happy birthday, and it's like I don't want that type of attention. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
I'm
think
the
we
same
should celebrate.
way.
Okay.
I'm the same way, but from my friends and my family and my loved ones, I do want to, hear it. And
Mhm,
I think that's a little bit a part of my love language. The older I
mhm,
get, I'm
right.
starting to realize I do want people to say happy birthday
So
to
no
me.
gifts,
But
Sakaya. Just say happy birthday, Merry
I want
Christmas.
gifts
No
too.
gifts. Oh, see, look, you got all the love languages.
I
You
do.
want it all. You want it all. Let me go ahead.
But I thought that was an important question to ask you, because I have realized with you, like when I wish you happy birthday, you're like, thank you. I don't think you really care. So I picked
Nah,
up
man,
on that.
I don't really care.
Um, and I think it's just different. I don't think it's a man or a woman thing. I think that some people have just grown up to where,
Mhm,
their birthdays were celebrated or they weren't celebrated or they just, didn't care for whatever reason. So I think it's
mhm.
just knowing, what type of friendship you have with someone.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you get older, I know with me, I don't know how it is with you. I forget my age. Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
not
me too.
something I celebrate I rarely celebrate it. So when people say, "How old are you?" and it's the summertime, it's like,
Hmm.
"How
How
old
old
am
am
I?"
I? Because I
Let me
really
go
don't
look at my
know.
ID. I know what year I was born, but I don't know how old I am.
Right.
But like I said, I try not to say anything. My family is gonna be the first to text me, happy
Hmm.
birthday, through family chat, but I don't even be wanting any attention. I don't
Yeah,
I don't I don't want any attention. So
I get it. So
yeah.
next birthday, I'm gonna send you a cake with your birthday on it
I'll
and your
eat it
name.
because it's some sweets, and I need to slow down on the sweets because I've been doing eating a lot of bad food the past week. I've had about 3 or 4
Hmm.
milkshakes from Shake Shack. Yeah,
Oh,
the cookies and cream. I've been tearing them things up. Um, I
it's
had
your
some
birthday.
nachos last night. Yeah, it's my birthday season, so that's what we're gonna go with.
There
So
you
as my face get bigger and bigger, it's my birthday season. So, I had some nachos last night. So, yeah, I need to slow
That
down. So after
actually
this,
isn't terrible. The shakes, okay, 3 shakes is a lot,
yeah,
but okay, you had nachos. I
yeah,
think it's fine.
there were nachos made with Doritos. They weren't like the
Oh,
regular nachos. They were made with Doritos, and so
that
after
sounds
the
good. I used to
stream,
do that in
yeah,
college. That sounds good.
yeah, and it had steak on it, cheese. It was real good, and I
Yeah,
tore it
sounds
up.
good.
and
Worth the cheat.
I started to order some red velvet cookies, but I said, you know what? Let me stop on the red velvet cookies.
Yeah, that would have been a bit much.
Yeah.
That would have been a
So
bit much.
yeah. So I'm gonna do probably about 30 35 minutes of cardio after this, and watch the NBA playoffs and just walk on a treadmill. So we'll see.
Yay. Fun.
Yeah. So I know you were traveling. You're back home now. Did you do anything for your birthday, or do you plan on doing something next week?
I didn't do anything too crazy. Had dinner a couple
Okay.
of nights, Friday and Saturday.
Mhm.
Got my birthday freebies. I don't know if you do that. But yeah, probably won't do anything until, well, not probably. I'll do something this upcoming week. Travel
Mhm.
somewhere, not sure where yet, but
Okay.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that'll conclude the birthday week because it
Birthday week.
will just be a
Yeah.
birthday week, not a season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Not a month, not a season. So you still have the whole
no,
summer, the rest of the spring. I don't know if you want to hit up Austin or hit up Las Vegas. I don't know if you're a Vegas fan or not, but
I don't like Vegas. I do love
yeah.
Austin though.
Oh, yeah. So that's the easy trip. As long as they don't have any events down there, hotel prices should be reasonable.
Yes, because they get crazy. Yes, I've
Oh
seen
yeah.
them.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So this next story, or this first story, is going to bring us right into your birthday season. And we all hear stories of sharks in the water at the beach, but in Southern California, they're dealing with another wild animal at the beach. They're dealing with wild sea lions.
Okay.
And recently, an aggressive sea lion was uh, film attacking beachgoers and surfers in Newport Beach, California. I don't know if you've seen the videos online, but have you had any instances where you've been out at a beach and somebody screamed shark or sea lion and you everybody had to run?
Uh no, no, not at all. And I've told you this before, but when I go on vacation, I am the person, whether it's Austin, whether it's Mexico, I don't care where it's at. The water, if it's warm outside and there's water, I'm on a boat. I'm like, let's jump off the boat. Like I'm in the middle of the ocean, don't care. So no, I've never had. Well, to my knowledge, there could have been a little dolphin swimming by my foot. I don't know,
Right,
but
right, yeah. There's some, yeah, some
I've
I think
never
it's
had.
Mexico and Florida, right? They got some dolphins.
Yeah, I Cabo. I think they have
Okay.
whales out there, but yeah, I've never had any encounter, nor have I known anybody to have an encounter
Mhm.
with an aggressive animal being on a beach. That would, yeah, that would scare me like crazy.
Right, especially a sea lion. Like shark, I probably wouldn't even be deep enough in the water to even see a shark. You talking about jumping off boats? Only time I'm gonna jump off a boat is jumping off the big boat to a little boat. I'm not jumping off no boats to the water. I'm not jumping off, I'm
Well,
not jumping
lakes
off.
too. There's
Nah,
not sea lions and stuff in a lake.
it's beavers
Okay.
in the lake. It's beavers and it's bats. It's snakes. It's squirrels, dead pigeons,
Okay.
and seagulls. It's animals there. Bugs. I'm not
Alrighty.
getting. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting in the water that deep. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, when I was in what was I? I think I was in St. Lucia, and they had this like on the beach. They had like a inflatable like water park with like a
Oh,
trampoline and all this
nice.
other stuff, and it
You
was
didn't do that
way
either?
out.
That's probably
Hell no.
shallow though.
No, it was deep because people were jumping off the platform into the water. They
Oh,
couldn't do it on shallow water. And
okay.
everybody's like, "Oh, you gonna jump in and get in the water?" I said, "Man, I'm not going out there."
Going to St.
No,
Lucia and not jumping in the middle of the ocean is criminal.
I didn't jump in the ocean in the middle of the ocean, but I got to like knee deep in the ocean, so I got that
That don't
you know
count.
that ocean water on my knees and ankles, But
That
yeah, I
don't
ain't
count.
messing with no sharks,
Sea
turtles,
lion.
sea lions. And I seen a video. You got to go check it out after we finish streaming. I think they said the sea lions become aggressive due to a certain algae in the water,
Oh,
and they become
okay.
aggressive. And you can see what some of the surfers like trying to escape the sea lion and like paddling away, swimming away. And the sea lions, they don't have arms and legs. They got little
Mhm.
fins, and they're like running on the sand, attacking people.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, imagine going to
But
work the next day. Like,
they didn't bite anybody or anything though.
uh, they were. I just heard they were aggressive. So one of those sea
Okay.
lions was actually put down, Uh,
Oh wow.
so you got to
Oh,
imagine with some of these animals, once they taste human blood, like they want some more. So,
poor little sea
imagine
lion.
he was big. He was bigger than me. He was probably like 7 feet tall, 7 feet
Poor
long.
little
So,
big sea lion.
right. So, not mess with them sea lions. Definitely not mess with them sea lions. But do you plan on going to the beach this summer outside
Sure
of
do.
like Galveston? I haven't been there yet. So,
I haven't been there either. I
yeah.
would love to go to Galveston, but usually last year was the first year that I didn't go to Austin.
Mhm.
So we should go to Austin. I love going to Austin for a good lake day. And I usually
Mhm.
just stay for a day, then go
A
right back
day?
home.
Nah.
Ain't
I
nothing
like
in
I like
Austin.
Nah, you got to be there like 3 or 4 days. I like to get there on a
No,
Thursday,
no. Mm-mm.
Friday,
That's too long
Saturday,
for Austin.
and then leave Sunday morning before the sun come up.
Ain't nothing to do there but bar hop with college kids. No,
Yeah,
thank you.
they got Sixth Street, Dirty Six. Then I think the other one is called like
Exactly.
West Six, Rainy Street. I got a lot of like high end restaurants
Rainy
now.
and
They're starting
six,
to bring
yeah.
a lot of high end restaurants. They have a lot of shows come through, a lot of events come through. Um, I mean, I like Austin.
As for me.
All
But
right,
I'll
cool.
go for a lake day.
One day, one day. Oh, Memorial Day is coming up soon, so I think that's in May, right?
Is it?
I think just like the unofficial start of summer, so I think that's like the second or third week in May,
Oh, nice. We have a day off from work too, which is great.
right? And I think Memorial Day, 4th of July, and then Juneteenth. I think they're all in
Okay.
that time span. So yeah,
Nice.
I'm gonna have
Okay.
to plan my 3 day Austin trip.
Yes. Don't forget to
Yeah,
invite me. Late
yeah,
birthday.
definitely, definitely. And hopefully, ain't no sea lions in the what is it called?
In the lake.
Lake. What is it called?
Lake
Lake what?
Austin.
Lake
Or Lake
Austin.
Travis. Lake Travis. I don't know why I said
What
Lake
about the
Austin.
other one? What is the other one called? Is it a river? Orange River, Red River, or something like that?
I ain't been there.
Okay, well you gotta get
I ain't
out.
been to Red River.
Yeah, maybe it may be
Orange
some
River,
beavers
Blue
and
River.
maybe some beavers in the water. So
Do
so
beavers
this
bite?
next shit, I mean they got teeth like yeah, they bite
Oh.
wood. How you think they make their
Oh yeah, yeah.
dams?
You're
They
right.
gotta and they have big tails. And
Okay,
you
yeah.
gotta
You're
understand
right. You're right.
when any animal like if they have like kids nearby and you're approaching them, they don't know you're
Yeah.
just walking by. They're gonna attack.
Gonna
And I
tear
ain't
you
trying to
up.
get I ain't trying to get
Yeah.
attacked by a beaver. That's not a story I want to tell. So this next story is something that we kind of touched on last week, relating to Coachella and the food prices. But I think this current weekend we're in, is the last Coachella weekend, and it was a huge weekend. From what I understand, I know you have a few details on Megan Thee Stallion's performance.
Yes. So Meg performed, and she did an amazing job. I don't know if you've seen any of the clips of her performance. I hope
No,
you
I'll have to
did.
check them out. No, no, I didn't. I
Ooh,
heard
yeah, you're
about
gonna
it.
have to
I
look
heard
at
about
them.
it. Yeah.
So she is just like, I've never been to a concert of hers. I'm actually not super big on concerts. Not sure that Coachella would be my thing at all. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
Coachella would be your thing either. I'm
A
assuming
hundred
no.
thousand people. If I'm in VIP, I'll go. But if I have to like share the porta potties with everybody else, get pushed around with everybody else, I don't know about that. But I don't know. I'll put it on
Yeah.
my bucket list since it's not that far from us.
I don't even think that I would really want to do VIP, but just saying. But
Mhm.
anyhow, Megan had her performance set, and she blew it out the water. I
Mhm.
mean, she is just like a great performer, great vocal control, body is amazing, which is why I'm like, I can't believe you didn't see that. She has just like really been in the gym. I'm like, man, now that's goals. Like people, they show Beyonce as like their body goals, whoever, woman wise, but Meg, that's body goals for
Okay,
real. But she brought out some really heavy hitters. She brought out
I heard. Yeah.
Sierra.
Okay.
So did you see listen to Sierra as a kid?
No. At first, when I heard the name Sierra, because I did hear that name this weekend, I thought it was a
Mhm.
place, and then I had to think about Russell Wilson. I'm like, oh, that's his wife. Somebody
Lord
said
have
Sierra.
mercy.
I thought they were talking about like Sierra, Arizona, or something like that. I'm like, Sierra, like, where's that?
Wow.
Go ahead.
But so she has a song that samples Sierra's Goodies, which was like
Okay.
a huge
Yeah,
song when
I
I
know that
was
song. I know that song. Yeah.
okay. Thank goodness, because I'm like that was like my childhood wrapped up into one.
Okay.
And
Show us some of those
obviously
dances. I know you got
I
some
can't.
little. You ain't got no
My shoulders
moves.
barely move. I ain't got no
Okay.
rhythm, none.
Okay.
But so she brought out Sierra, and Sierra performed the song that she sampled, and just seeing them two on stage because Sierra's a phenomenal performer too,
Oh yeah.
a
Yeah.
great
I've seen it.
dancer, and she's been known for that. So it was interesting watching some of the clips and seeing like some of the younger people who were attending the concert and just kind of being there like a statue, but
Mhm.
then kind of seeing, like our fellow millennials turning up and,
Right.
having a great time.
Right.
So
Well, and we know you like old singers. Everybody from
I
Genuine
love it.
to Keith Sweat to who else?
Missy Elliott was
Missy
there.
classic. Missy's classic. Yeah, Missy is, and also that old guy who used to be married to Whitney Houston. What's his name? Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown.
Yeah, you like him too. Anybody old, you like.
that's that's when the good music was being made though,
I
and that's
agree.
what I grew up on. Like that's what my
Mm,
mama played. She wasn't playing. It was like an all right. I mean, she did play Tupac and Biggie, obviously, but
mhm.
like we grew up on Mary J. Blige and all of that. So I love '90s
Right.
music.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Sorry to
still listen
say, but
to '90s, early 2000s. Uh, and then we were
still,
just talking about Will Smith last week. I was listening to Summer. I told you I was listening to Summertime. Um,
oh gosh,
and I heard Queen Latifah came out as well, and she's
yes,
throwback. I think she's from the '80s.
hmm
And a lot of people don't realize Queen Latifah, Will Smith, Dr. Dre, like like these guys were rappers before they
yeah,
were actors. And Queen
they were
Latifah,
entertainers. Yeah,
yeah, Queen Latifah is one of those rappers, along with Missy Elliott. She didn't talk
hmm
about sex or anything that was provocative. Like
right.
Missy made music that made you want to get up and dance.
Yes,
Like Missy was huge,
and a
like
great
huge.
performer too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
obviously
She
made
always had
great music,
costumes and
but
everything. Yeah, and she
yes,
always
yep.
always had great costumes. And I think she has health issues right now, so that's probably preventing her from releasing new music. But Missy is a classic, man.
Yes,
But
absolutely. She also brought out Victoria Monet. You may not know who that is, but she has a song, "On My Mama." On my, well, it's a sample too.
okay,
It's a sample from that song. On my
okay. Because I'm
mama,
like, I thought that was
on
made
my
by some
hood,
Atlanta
I
rappers.
look like yeah,
I
but she
look
sampled
good.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I heard that one. So I've never heard of Vanessa. What's her name? Vanessa?
Victoria Monet.
Victoria. I've never heard of Victoria Monet song in my life. I've only seen her. I think she
You've
was in a
heard that
Lexus
song.
commercial. Oh, on my mama. Oh yeah, yeah. I heard that. That's
Well, you've heard
some classic.
her version too, right?
No, I never heard her voice.
Okay.
I don't
You,
even know what
I'm
she
sure
sounded
you've
like.
heard it, but just not registered it. But
Mm.
you've seen her before, is what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Yeah, I saw her in
Okay.
a car commercial. Yeah, she has
She's
like a short
beautiful,
haircut. Yeah, she's a very attractive woman.
and
So,
she's a great performer as well.
okay.
So I think it was just obviously a great lineup. I kind of second guessed it. Like, man, they kind of make me want to be there. Honestly, I would hate the
Right.
crowd, but I would
Yeah.
have loved to be there to witness that performance.
Did you watch it live on YouTube on the stream, or you saw the clips?
No, I just saw some clips
Okay.
being put
Yeah.
together.
Because I know when I was online, I think yesterday, they had a live stream with people watching it
Oh,
live.
okay.
Of course, watching it post because they can edit it. It'll probably be a little
hmm
better. But yeah, you definitely got to check out Coachella or one of these like massive music festivals. Like put it on the bucket list. I mean, you maybe have a heat stroke out there depending on how warm it is, but I mean it's something worth checking, especially if you got, like you said, you got a bunch of old R&B singers like you enjoy. Keith Sweat may headline next year, Usher may headline next year. Who else? Oh, Boys the Man may be on there next year.
Hey, I love all them, but
I
I
know
love
you
Keith
think,
Sweat.
oh, you love him. We know. So
Yeah,
what if R. Kelly performed next year? What if they let him out? He at Coachella.
man, I can't support R. Kelly.
You say, what if Chris Brown there? Look at that. Look at that face. Look.
I've never been to a Chris Brown concert either. I'm
Right.
just
You
saying.
know what would be a good birthday gift for me to you? A
The
Chris
ticket to
Brown
Chris
photo.
Brown?
A Chris
I,
Brown photo
I
after the
don't want that.
concert. You don't. He'll grab on you
Oh,
and
after the okay.
after the
I thought you
concert.
meant like a picture of him. I'm like, I don't want no picture of Chris Brown.
But if you, I think it's $1,000 from understand. If you
Oh, for
spend
his
the
meet and
money,
greet.
he'll
That's a
like
lot.
he'll hold you like a hug or in a provocative way, and you can like take it and put it on your story. And you can say, "Oh, Chris Brown grabbed me. He gave me a tight, intimate hug. He kissed my cheek."
He making a killing off of charging $1,000 for that. That's a lot of money.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure most of it is probably gonna be just simple swipe of the credit card, cash app, cash, and he's probably gonna take home.
A
If he can do
lot.
500, if he can do 500 people, that's
Yeah.
that's that's money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Right.
have to start. I'm about to start charging for meet and greets. Man,
Don't
not
nobody
even
want to see you,
$1,000.
Otis.
Give me $20 a meet and greet.
$20. Yeah.
$20. I got crackhead prices. $20.
That's about all you gonna
Yeah, $20. I'm
get.
just down in the corner. Yo, $20, and let me take this picture together. Yeah, yeah. This Tony
Oh
from
goodness.
Sigh of Relief. Yeah, yeah. Follow me on YouTube. But it's best to take a picture of me now because in about a year, 6 months from now, we gonna be so big, we ain't gonna have no time for no meet and greets.
Booming.
Yeah,
Yes.
we gonna be at Coachella. They're gonna be paying us to come out there. So
Manifestation.
right, right.
Manifestation.
So this next story, I know you've heard it. The Blue Origin flight. So earlier this week, aerospace company Blue Origin sent the crew of about eight crew members on a 10-minute ride to space, which took the crew 65 miles above the surface of the Earth. The flight later drew a lot of criticism because a lot of folks were claiming that this flight did not even leave Earth. This flight didn't go to outer space. And a lot of people were just pointing out a lot of the inconsistencies and what they saw happen and what the media, said happened. So is this something that you heard about?
I did hear about it, but I haven't seen like really any footage just because I was traveling for work. The only thing that I really saw was a lot of people talking about Gail's face when they went to ring the bell and how she
Okay.
looked like she was second guessing on if she was even gonna get on the aircraft or
Right. Well,
not.
before it took off or after?
Before it took off.
Okay. Oh, she was scared.
So she looked like she was regretting it.
Yeah.
But what's your interpretation? Do you feel like it really happened? I don't. I mean, I don't know.
So like you said, I thought it happened because you can easily because they achieve zero gravity, and you can easily, I think, get that from just shooting a plane to space, a pod to
Mhm.
space, and it doesn't have to go all the way to outer space. It has to go, I think, right above the Earth atmosphere and then drop
Mhm.
down, right?
Right.
And so you can appear or you can achieve that zero gravity effect for I think like a minute or two. Um,
Okay.
but one of the things I noticed is like days after, when people actually had time to digest the video, they start pointing out that the spaceship or the pod that they got on and got off, it didn't have any like charred marks on it because when you exit
Mhm.
the Earth's atmosphere and you come back to Earth, it's gonna burn whatever leave
Mm.
exits and enters again. So they
Yeah.
pointed out that the pod was like spanking brand new, it was clean, and also a lot of people pointed out that the doors on the pod they open inward,
Mhm.
and when you travel out into outer space, the doors cannot open inward because if they open inward, the door will basically shoot in from the pressure
Mm.
of the
Right.
atmosphere. So a lot of people were like saying, "Oh, this isn't real." Uh, I did see a story or picture earlier today of a hand that looked fake. So the pod had windows on it, and if you look at the hand, it's like a brown hand to I guess
Mhm.
mimic Gail King's hand or whoever black was in there, and the hand looked like a mannequin. Like it was just so
Like
shiny
a
and smooth, like a
okay.
prop. And so a lot of
Like a
people were saying, "Oh,
prosthetic hand or
yeah,
something.
exactly like a prosthetic hand." A lot of people were just saying, "Oh, this isn't real." But Like, why would they fake something like this if they did
So
fake it? It would
are you leaning more towards that it wasn't real, like after you looked
come.
at all the speculation, or you still think it was
Mm.
real?
My thing is that why fake it?
Yeah.
Why fake it? Like,
Yeah.
but I can understand why they would fake it because you can imagine. I don't know what shuttle it was back in the 80s or 90s. I think
Mhm.
they sent like a teacher to space and it blew up.
Mhm.
It blew
Yeah.
up. I think it was, I don't know if it was Columbia or what, but one of them blew up. Can you imagine sending 10 celebrities to space and it blowing up? Like
Oh,
that's bad
no.
PR.
No.
That's bad
Yeah, that
PR.
would
So
be that would be
you can't
terrible.
you can't do that. You can't do that.
Mhm.
So let's just put some mannequins in it. Let's just send a mannequin to space and take some pictures afterwards and say, "Oh, we went to space." So
Yeah.
yeah, but what would have
I
been? I know it's not funny, but would have been crazy if they would have shot the mannequins up. The mannequins blew up, and then 10 minutes later, you see Gail King walk from the background, like, "Hey, I'm okay." That would have been crazy. Now people would have
yeah.
been like pissed, like, "What is this?"
Agree. And I guess I'm just not like I don't know anything about aerospace to even I think put an opinion in. I feel like a lot of people are just like conspiracy theorists and
Mhm,
just want stuff to not be untrue and want people to be lying to them that
mhm,
they look into everything. So I think it's a possibility that they could have went.
mhm.
I mean, they've made suggestions that aliens are real.
Mhm.
We just had two people come allegedly from space.
Yeah, the, the
I
the
mean,
the couple that came, the NASA
yeah,
crew that came back a few weeks ago that we talked about on this show.
yes.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So why isn't it plausible that maybe they're exploring more of what's outside of Earth? Seems like they're
Mhm.
doing a lot of work in that space. So I don't know. I guess I'm 50-50. I don't know enough to say it's fake and I don't know enough to say
Right.
it's real. So
Yeah,
I'm
same here.
gonna lean on it's real as of right now. But
Yeah, same here. Like, I mean, like I said, why would they do this? But it just wouldn't look good if you trap Katy Perry or Gail King in
not
a
at
pod.
all.
I mean, that just
Yeah.
wouldn't look good. And then we got
Yeah.
to send another rocket up there to catch, these ladies.
Mhm.
But speaking of traveling, if you had the opportunity to go to space, would you go?
No, because I ain't got enough money.
No, no, it's free. Would you go?
If it was free.
So you
So
would
I'm
go.
somebody who
Don't tell me you're afraid of
I
heights.
love no, no, no. I
Okay.
love doing like I've been paragliding. The only thing I really haven't done is
Mhm.
skydive. So I
Okay.
can't say that I would 100% rule it out because I feel like I never want to leave Earth with any regrets or being like I was scared
Mhm.
to do something.
Mhm.
But I'm leaning more towards no. So right now is 60-40, or no, I say it's 70-30. 70% no, 30% yes.
So you don't want to go to space to better mankind. We could just shoot you up there for 10 minutes. What you making faces for? We can shoot you up
Shoot
there for 10 minutes.
shoot yourself up there.
I don't take risks. I'm not jumping off boats. I'm not paragliding. I'm not swimming with beavers. I'm not doing any of this stuff. I don't. I do not touch risk. I don't play with risk. I'm the
Okay.
person I walk to the corner before I cross the street. I'm not even. I don't even want to jaywalk in certain neighborhoods. I'm not doing any of that.
That's
And
crazy.
people say, "Oh, you old man, you scared?" Yeah, oh, yeah, I'm scared. I ain't
Hmm.
doing that. Doing that.
Not jaywalking is crazy.
Yeah,
Walking across the crosswalk is crazy.
you gonna be that man that just. I ain't listen. We just saw somebody trapped in space, what, for 6 months, 9 months, come back and they was
Yeah, a
gray
long
and they
time.
lost weight. Imagine I come back and I'm skinnier than this and I'm gray and I got gray facial hair and I'm hungry. So
Yeah, it's
no,
gonna be all bad. But
there's no lip balm with me. There's no Coachella. There's no internet. No YouTube. I'm just sitting out there.
my
So
thing is, you have to meet the afterlife at some point. Like,
so
are
why
you
don't
gonna
you
meet the
why don't you
afterlife?
meet your afterlife right now and then I meet
Well, I
mine
said,
when I'm
I
90.
said, I said there's a 30% chance, but you don't know that
Mhm.
your afterlife will be at 90. You don't know how
Right.
you're gonna. I think if we could all have a crystal ball to see how our afterlife was gonna be, or how we were gonna get to the afterlife,
Mhm.
a lot of us would probably take a lot more risk.
Yeah.
My personal
Yeah,
opinion,
definitely.
but
Yeah. The people who will take the risk are the people who they're gonna see themselves dying in their 20s or 30s. But the folks who are gonna live to be 90 years old, they're gonna be like, oh no,
Me?
I'm not leaving the house. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna
No,
avoid
I don't
risk.
think so at all. I
So
do not think that's the case.
but the ladies that went up there, they had nice little uniforms. You could have put you a little blue uniform on. We could have shot you up there 10 minutes. You just float in the air
Could take
and
some Instagram
parachute.
pictures,
Yeah, took some
made
Instagram
some
pictures.
content.
Yeah, made some content for 10 minutes. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they had cell phones, but
Yeah.
okay. Are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. All right. So this next story is about some of our peers, and it's about millennials who purchased homes during the COVID pandemic. They're now starting to regret their purchase. So a recent News Week article highlighted that many millennials who purchased homes during the pandemic are now experiencing buyer's remorse. A 2023 survey discovered that 82% regretted buying a home. Do you
That's a
know
lot of
anyone that
people.
bought a home? Yep, that's a lot of people. That's almost all. Uh, do you know anybody that bought a home during the pandemic, and how they faring?
I don't know one person who has bought a house,
Mhm.
period. I don't
Okay,
have a friend that lives in a home. We all
okay,
rent, which
okay,
I think adds to that story right there. People
right.
can't afford it.
Yeah, buyer's remorse. One of the so I do know a few people that bought homes during the pandemic.
Hmm.
Interest rates were low. But
Yep.
one of the things a lot of people, especially in Texas and a lot of states that have high property tax, they weren't
Yep.
anticipating the property
That's
taxes
exactly
to
what I was gonna
skyrocket
say.
the way
Yep.
they did. I know someone who told me their property tax went up $500. And from what I understand in Texas, I may be mistaken, is that you pay property tax every month and it goes towards a fund. I guess you pay it the overall ticket
Hmm.
property tax at the end of the year. And so I can only imagine having a bill increase $500 in 1 month. That's insane.
Yeah, I think some people's have, and I'm assuming that's your friend that you know personally. Theirs went up
Mhm,
500, but I'm pretty sure some people's have gone up more than that.
mhm.
So yeah, anticipating, just talking about someone who rents, the most I've seen is maybe like a $40 a month increase. Like if I was going to renew my lease,
Mm.
nobody is really, well, most people, I won't say nobody, but most people aren't budgeting in paying an additional $500 a month for their
No,
housing.
not at
So yeah,
all.
that's a huge shocker.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, 500. Nobody's budgeting that type. Like, and people when people budget, they budget for like small changes. Like, oh, I need to
Hmm.
take 3 Starbucks coffees out of my
Right.
weekly budget, and make coffee at home. five hundred
Hmm.
dollars. That's car insurance. That's car note. That's medical
That's a hefty
vision.
bill.
That's 401k.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. That's a
Right.
that's somebody's paycheck. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
somebody's paycheck. A significant
Yep.
portion of somebody's paycheck. So that's wild. Considering people, most people are regretting. And so let me read some other data from the study. 21% said that they were not well informed about the home buying process.
Yep.
So that
Could see
shows
that.
you that a lot of people saw the low interest rates, they
Yep.
saw the demand, and they said, "Hey, let me buy a house. I'm working from home," because a lot of people are working from home,
Yep.
and so
Were.
that's what they did. Yeah, they were working from home because now a lot of companies now require you to be in office a certain number of days a week, and
Yep.
so that's wild. Additionally, um, 19% were unhappy about the location they bought a home in,
All
and
that
like,
gentrification. Yeah.
mm,
That is playing a role too.
yeah, yeah. So imagine you're working from home for 2 years, and you say, "Oh, let me buy a house further away from the city. I don't have to drive to work. I don't have to commute." And then years go by, and you have to go into the office, or you want to go hang out with your friends, and you have to say no because you don't want to drive 45 minutes to the city. You don't want to drive
Hmm.
30 minutes to another location. So it could be crazy.
Or you're just not in a safe area.
Yeah.
Texas is notorious for that, putting a nice house
Oh
somewhere
yeah.
you don't need to be staying.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I
definitely. Yeah,
mean,
because of the lax zoning laws in certain cities. Like,
yep,
yeah. So you can have a trap house next to the laundromat, next door to the church, and you
yep.
got to deal with all of
Next
that.
to a beautiful new build,
Yeah,
too.
you
The
got to
new
deal with
build
that.
you're going to be living in.
Yeah, you got to deal with all that. I know this is not related to Texas. I saw a video online. You can probably Google it after of I think it was I don't know, it was a guy or a couple or a family. They like bought like a plot of land in Detroit or Cleveland, and they made like a
Hmm.
whole compound in
I
like
feel
the
like I
hood.
saw that video.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
why would you buy this or build this in this neighborhood?
Because some people are, so when I used to live in San Antonio, I would go to the roughest neighborhoods because what I did for work.
Mhm.
And I would see like these random, like there would be a lot of questionable houses on the
Mhm.
side where you could tell people were doing things that they should not have been doing.
Trapping.
And then you would see, yes, then you would see like this random, like it wouldn't be like a $500,000 home, but it would be an expensive home. The
Mhm.
only home on the block that has a gate, the only home you could tell that has 2 or 3 stories. And I'm like, why would they build that right here? And you have to think, some people, they grew up in that. They just unfortunately have more money. They're not scared of living in the hood. They're like, why
Yeah.
can't I put if the land's cheap, why can't I put my house in the hood? So yeah, they may have money now, but so I think that's, and I could be wrong. That could be the Detroit scenario where they grew up around that neighborhood or grew up in that neighborhood and was just like, okay, I'm gonna put back into the community and I'm gonna do it, but putting my house right here. So
Yeah. 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 And it goes back to something I think we've been talking about for the past few weeks. Uh, the rising cost of home ownership. Um,
hmm.
I feel like if you don't get a house in the next 4 years, it's going to be impossible to get because them prices are only going to go up. And you have Texas. We're supposed to get the World Cup next year. Uh, I'm pretty sure after that they're going to try to bring the Olympics here at one point, but everything is going to become just more expensive because everybody's moving here.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's obviously going to be more expensive everywhere, but I also think, and I'm just going back to the millennial issue,
Mhm.
I think that people have kind of engraved in us within the last 5 years since COVID that we have to have a house to build generational wealth. And
Mhm.
I mean, I've never had a house. I don't have a house now. But I don't necessarily agree with that narrative because I don't think that, for one, a house is not the only way to build generational wealth. You can
Mhm.
invest and pass stuff down to your children without having a house. So I feel like a lot of people rush into having a house because they feel like they have to, because that's what prior generations and their
Yeah, it
friends
did.
and whomever have done. Yeah. Um,
And peer pressure as well.
yeah.
Sometimes your family may say, well, you're not your family. Your parents may say, what are you doing? Like, when are you going to
My
buy
parents say it
something?
all the time.
When are you
All
going
the
to settle
time.
down?
Why don't you
Yeah.
buy a house? Why don't you buy a house? You
You
could
know
buy a
who else
house
says
right
it?
now.
You know who else says
Oh
it?
yeah, you.
Me.
But
Why
you
don't you get a
do.
townhome? Yeah, why don't you get a townhome? But
Which I'm not saying is ruled out, but I just don't, like, for one, I'm okay with renting. I love people fixing my stuff for me.
Mhm.
I hate the neighbors, but I mean, it's I feel like it's pros and cons to both. So you just
Yeah,
have
it's,
to see what's
it's
best for
definitely
you.
pros and cons. And when you have a home, like it's like having a kid, having another responsibility that's
Yep.
constantly developing, growing. Like
Yep.
unless you get a new build that comes with like a warranty that probably lasts a few years, even during a
Hmm.
warranty, something's gonna break. You're gonna have to have a
Yep.
handyman, or you're gonna have to learn to fix it yourself. But like you
Right.
said, it is a way to that can store value if just have the money to purchase, and then when you are 60 or 70 or 80, however long you plan on being here, you can sell
Hmm.
it, get the money, and go do whatever you want to do in retirement. You can pass it on to family. And also, you got to think about, like, we're both renters. Rent
Hmm.
is not going to go up. I'm sorry, rent is not going to go down. It's only going
Yeah.
to go up. So if rent goes up,
Absolutely.
2% every year, okay, that's not bad. But over the course of a decade, that's a lot of
Hmm.
money. If you got a
Yeah.
fixed mortgage, yes, it's fixed. The insurance is not fixed. The taxes are not fixed, but it's something that you can call yours. You can customize it because there's certain things that, I want to do to my future house that I can't do to an apartment. Like I want a rooftop deck. I
Yeah.
can't have a rooftop deck in an apartment unless it's common space. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
but
Oh, you're right. It's just where you are, but I hate that we just make people feel like in order to have made it, you have to be in a home. Like I just don't agree with that. So.
yeah, some people wait until they're in their 30s, their 40s, even 50s before they decide to buy. And if you're mobile, you may not want to buy unless you want to
Yep.
deal with renting a house out. And I've heard horror stories of people who you know own a
Yeah.
home in Florida, own a home in Texas, own a home in Illinois, and they don't live there and they have to rent it out and deal with renters who are destroying their
Yep.
property while they're away in a different city or
Right.
state.
Yeah. I
So,
would not want to rent out my home personally. That's a personal choice.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, to each their
yeah.
own.
Yeah, and if I rented out a property of mine, I'm going to go through a company to vet the people to make sure they got good credit. They not smoking. They ain't got no animals.
Yeah.
Because you ain't trying to rip carpet up and paint walls because somebody smoked your house out.
Right. Agreed.
So yeah, yep, definitely. So this next story is going to be really interesting. I've seen this story for the past few days. You made me aware of it as well. So in a recent interview, actress Tracee Ellis Ross, who's in her 50s, expressed that she's embracing her age. And there's nothing wrong with embracing your age. We should all embrace our age, whether
Agreed.
we're in our teens or 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, any age, you should embrace it. But embracing her age is not why she's making headlines. The actress who sat for an intimate interview reflected on her desire to date younger men to avoid toxic masculinity in men her age. What are your thoughts on this? Because I know this has been going around for the past few days.
Yeah. And I'll just kind of start by acknowledging who Tracee Ellis Ross is.
Okay.
Diana
'Cause
Ross's
you
daughter.
yeah, you know more about it. I know. She's an actress. She's like
Yeah, she is
Jessica Monet. I'm like, okay, I know the name. I seen the
Victoria
face.
Monet.
Victoria Monet. Yeah.
Close. Close enough. Jessica's close.
Mhm. Yeah.
But Tracee Ellis Ross, obviously Diana Ross's daughter, starred in Girlfriends back in the 90s. I'm sure your mama watched that show.
Yeah, you like old stuff, so that's right up your alley. 90s, right with
So I can
Genuine.
say that wasn't my favorite show. The Parkers was my favorite show. But
Parkers was good. I like the
either
Parkers.
way, me too. Girlfriends is, I mean, people are still talking about Girlfriends to this day. She starred in Blackish, which I don't think they make new episodes, but that was more recent, like in the last decade. They've had
Mhm.
spinoffs from that show. So she's constantly booked and busy. So I don't want to, before we start this conversation, I want to make sure that we're giving her
Her
flowers
Rose of
because she's a
Flowers. Yeah.
very, yeah, she's a very prominent actress and entertainer uh, these days.
Mhm.
So obviously, she had her sit down with Michelle,
Mhm.
and she talked about um, how she does date younger men, but she also talked about how she
Mhm.
grieves a little bit the fact that she, is unmarried and doesn't have kids. Obviously, she's in her 50s, so she's likely surpassed being able to have children. Could still have a husband though, could still adopt. There's still options there, but I think that I would want to touch on that piece a little bit before the
Go
dating
ahead.
younger piece.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So she says that she just hasn't, found her person. And
Mhm.
she goes on to say, although she's grieving not
Mhm.
having, the family unit, a nuclear family, I guess is what you would call it, she would rather not have the family versus choose the wrong person, which I 100% agree with her.
Yeah, we
Like, I
all
know
agree to
that
that.
that's,
We all agree.
No, 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 no. Not everybody agrees
Not
to
everybody.
that.
Oh no. Okay.
Not everybody agrees to that because I feel like a lot of people feel like for a woman to have value in this world, she needs to be
Mhm.
a wife and she needs to be a mom. Period.
Mhm.
A lot of people
Yeah.
feel that way. Um, so I agree with her that I would rather be single and not have any kids. I'm not trying to manifest this because I would love to be a mom. I would love to be a
Of
wife.
course.
But I would
YouTube.
rather
Yeah.
not.
Make sure y'all hit that. Slide in them DMs. Slide in them DMs.
Thank you.
She's wild. She likes to jump off boats. She like to swim with beavers. She like to go to space. Go ahead.
All that good stuff. All that good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I am with her on that. I would rather not have those things versus settle just to say I'm a mom or I'm a wife who hates her husband. I have kids, but I got to raise them by myself. And not saying that anything's wrong with single motherhood, but I would prefer
It's
not
a
to have those
challenge.
things.
Yeah, it's a challenge, and people need
Yeah,
to admit that it's a challenge.
right,
It's very
right.
difficult. But
So
go ahead. I don't want. I
no,
don't.
you're
Go
right.
ahead. I
You're
don't.
right.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
But all that to say, a lot of people were just like, another bitter woman. It's too late. If she ain't found nobody in her 50s, she ain't never gonna find nobody. And I'm like, do y'all
Yeah.
not realize this is Tracee Ellis Ross? She's in her
Mm,
50s. She looked dang good. She's
mm,
successful. She's
mm,
beautiful, nice body. Like, I'm
mm.
sure she could go to Whole Foods and find Jim Bob and she could settle down with him if she wants to, but she's
I would say,
choosing not
but
to.
it takes two people to decide to settle down. So, but go ahead.
Yes. Well,
Because
yes, yes,
Jim Bob
that's
may not want her. But go ahead.
Jim Bob gonna want him some Tracy. I'm just saying, man, y'all easy. Y'all not hard. Y'all
Okay.
easy. But anywho, so how do you feel? Like, what's your perception of her being in her 50s and grieving, not having a family unit?
So that's I think that's normal. Like we're put on this earth uh to reproduce, to have families, to build, contribute to our community. When I say our community, I'm talking about making our communities bigger, not, you know, subcultures or whatever. Um, I mean, if I was a 50-year-old guy, yeah, I know some guys who are in their 50s and 60s and they don't have kids and they talk about that. They don't say that, they don't use the word grieving, but they say,
Yeah.
I wish I would have had children. I wish I would have got
Mhm.
married at an earlier age. Because they see their peers uh,
Mhm.
sharing those memories with their families and with their friends, and they can't contribute to that. They can't share those memories.
That's fair.
So yeah, so guys are doing the same thing. They're just not using the word grieve. And
Mhm.
again, it's biological. Like if I understand when it comes to a woman and stuff like, menopause, that's the body's last hurrah of saying, hey, uh, this is it. It's sending you signals to your body and to your mind, like this is it. These are the last years that you're gonna
Is it?
probably.
Is
For
menopause sending you
understand,
a last signal? Oh.
I think menopause is like when a woman stops having a cycle, right?
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
yes, and
Okay.
your body changes in general,
Yeah.
but I
Oh,
didn't know that it was
it's
like a
yeah.
red flag.
Oh, I thought it was a red flag. Well, it's basically, let's say she's no
I
longer
don't know
young.
that
She's
much about
Yeah.
menopause, so
You're
you're
young, so
right.
you don't. Yeah, I don't know a lot either. I just know when women around me talking about hot flashes, they old. So they're typically older. I'm not gonna say they old.
Older. There
Yeah,
we
they
go.
older.
Older.
Uh, so I mean, I don't have any issue with her saying that she regrets not having children and being married. Live your best life, but I think that she should also be telling younger women that, not just younger women, anybody younger, like take advantage of your time and your youth while you're young, so you don't have to grieve about being 50 years old, childless, and not married. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of that she contributed to. So a lot of times we can be in relationships, not just her, I, her, anybody, our neighbors, and we like to point the finger to, oh, it's his fault, it's her fault, it's their fault. A lot of times it's us. It means two
Mhm.
people in a relationship, and a lot of times we make mistakes as individuals. Uh, we don't compromise as individuals, and people leave us. I know I'm
Yeah.
not perfect. I know I like things a certain
That's
way.
fair.
I know there's certain things that I don't compromise on, and I'm pretty sure somebody in her position, she probably still, or she probably thought she was the shit or the ish back in the day, and she didn't want to compromise. She wanted
Hmm.
men to conform to her, but now, it's coming back to bite her in the butt.
Yeah, depending upon who she dated, because I'm sure that she dated men who are in the same boat as her. I'm pretty sure she dated some celebs.
Yeah, but you got to imagine if a guy, she talked about men her age. If a guy's in his 50s and he's a celebrity, he's probably not chasing 50-year-old women. I know that's just common. That's just normal.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So well, I am a celebrity, but if I was older and still a celebrity like I am now, and I'm not already married, I may go younger. If the opportunity is there, would
So
you go
then I guess
younger?
that leads us, and I was going to say, I guess that leads us to the next portion of her saying that she
Mhm,
dates younger. I do not date younger
mhm.
men. I actually just met this guy. We were supposed to go out. We did not end up going out. Nope. That has already been X'd and deleted.
Oh
But
my God, let
he
me let
was
me call this guy.
no need to call him. But he was younger, and the minute he said he was younger, I just knew he was gone
Mhm,
just at his age. So
mhm,
I'm actually surprised that she would want to date someone younger, but I also understand the toxic masculinity portion that she's referring to with older men, because I've also dated older men before,
mhm,
and they can be very stuck in their ways. They don't want to adapt, and they don't
mhm,
want to, like you were just saying, listen to what the other person is saying. They just
mhm,
want to do what they want to do. You're going to accept
mhm.
it, or you're going to move forward. And I also want to acknowledge, like, her saying younger doesn't mean 21. Her younger, if she's 52, her younger could be 45. That's
So
still a
so
mature man.
so she said her generation. So I'm going to assume a generation is like 12 to 15 years. So if I think you say she's 55, so she's not dating
Yeah, she's
55-year-olds.
52,
She's 52. If she's not dating 52-year-olds, I think when she means by younger, I think she's probably dating. She's attempting because
like
she's not
40.
dating. I say 30. I think that's what she means by 30. Because I have a quote from her.
How you get
I've got
30
a
from 52?
look, I got a quote from her that says, during the interview, she added, there's an openness about dating younger men when it comes to gender fluidity and sexual orientation. That's something she said in the interview. So
Okay.
she
What does
she
that even
once
mean?
got exactly because the older man like me that's in his 50s, like, what you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't even know what that
so
means, but okay.
so she's looking for a guy that's open to gender fluidity. I guess that's the belief of someone,
Oh, like not playing
deciding
into gender
not being
roles.
not yeah, 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 not playing into
Okay.
gender roles, being non-binary, and also open to what did she say? Open to sexual different sexual orientations. So I guess being non-binary and see, look at that face. Now we
Oh,
see why
so
she's
her
single.
being like, so her being like into women and men.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's what you're
that's what I
referencing. Okay.
assume. And when it comes to dating, um, but like I said, this is
Okay.
just like a cautionary tale of people. Just like the older you get, and I'd explain this to somebody over the weekend. Like the older you get, our peers, people who are your peers, they become married. So if I'm
Yeah.
25 years old, it may not be a lot of my peers that are married. Some may be married. But as I move to 30, 35, 40, those folks are off the market. And so what's
But
going to
I
be left?
still,
Oh, wait.
no, but I was gonna say I think that's our circle though, because
Mhm,
so just me using myself as the
mhm,
example, where I went to school, I was a minority, period,
mhm.
like straight minority. Pretty much everybody I know from high school, they're all married, and they were married well before being 25.
Yep. But I
Now,
guarantee you they're still in the same city or town you went to high school in.
yeah, they are, but some of them have also moved too.
Mhm,
So I definitely think the culture plays a big role in that.
Yes, yes, no
But
more.
I only have one friend who has been married in my friend group, and she's not married any longer. So I don't have any married friends.
Yeah, I have a few married friends, and I have a divorced friend. I think, but overall, everybody was married between 30 and 35.
So
So
older.
they're older. But at the same time, we also need to look at marriage today in 2024, 2025. People are getting married less. Divorce is on a rise. And so a lot of younger guys are, um, not just younger guys, a lot of younger people are just deciding not to get married. And you brought up a really important point, is culture. In certain cultures, certain groups of people, the expectation is for you not even to date around. Like when you
Just
find
to get
someone that you
married.
like, when you find
Yeah.
someone you like and you're when you 19, 20, 21, you date them long enough to you feel like you're ready to get married and you get married.
Right.
You're not
Yeah.
25 years old dating half a
For
dozen
five
people.
years.
Yeah,
For
you're not
five
doing that.
years.
Yeah, because the parents are usually going to step in early on, year 1, year 2, and say, "What is your intention with my son or daughter? If you're not trying to
Right.
get married, you need to get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
Um,
Fair.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the cultural thing, and also I noticed in certain regions of the country, people get married, prior to 30, especially in the South,
Hmm.
Southeast. Uh, Families get married; they don't just sit around and
Yeah.
date and throughout the 50s and 40s. I mean, because you got to imagine, like,
Yeah.
what are you getting out here dating? Like, what's out here?
Right.
Yeah, I
Trash.
mean, yeah, as they say,
Trash.
it's pee in the dating pool. So
Yeah.
it's nothing
Facts.
out here. But yeah, Tracy, I mean, people are laughing at the fact that, or making comments at the fact that, she's 50 something years old and she's single and she's trying to date younger men. And I'm going to assume younger means 30. Um,
I'm gonna
but
assume
she's
40 at least.
with the gender stuff, I'm going to assume younger because guys who are in their 40s, they're going to probably want more of a traditional relationship when it comes to gender roles, meaning as a man, they probably want to provide, they want, or he probably wants his
Maybe.
wife to, be at home doing certain things. But no, people need to talk about the mistakes that she's made, um, and choosing a partner as well, because a lot of times we may be attracted to something, but that's not what's best for us. And as you know, we both seen the funny YouTube show Pop the Balloon. A lot of people are choosing partners based on the wrong reasons.
But yeah, this is true. This is true. But I do also, I can't take away from the fact that I think our generation is going to
Mhm.
see a lot more lonely people when we
Oh
get to our
yes.
60s and 70s.
Oh yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
I don't want to say that it's a hurt issue or really even anyone that she's dating. I think that we've just kind of lost the plot a little bit on even being in relationships. So
Mhm.
we shall see. We're going to be a
Yeah.
very lonely generation.
Yeah. We are going to be a very lonely generation. I mean, if you just like I said, if you look at the marriage rates, the divorce rates, uh, yeah, millennials, they're getting married, millennials are getting divorced, and it's gonna be people are gonna be in for a rude awakening,
Can't
especially if
buy a
they think,
house.
yeah, it can't buy a house. Yeah, it's gonna
Gonna
be
be in
it's gonna be
apartments
wild.
just lonely. Gonna
It's gonna be
be
wild.
sitting in this apartment lonely.
It's gonna be wild. So she had another quote, um from the interview, and she said, she had closed with the interview by saying, quote, she hasn't had any great luck. So that's kind of telling that, she's just 50 something years old. She's out here just seeing these 30-year-old men, I assume they 30 in their 30s, and
Hmm.
they not marrying her, or they don't want to have a kids with her. And at 50 something years old, you can't just pop out a baby for the first time. You may have
Yeah,
health issues, with that. So I think she should
I think
also add.
it's a very low percentage. I feel like
Mhm.
52 and up. I think
Yeah.
Janet had a baby in her 50s. Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
I think she was 50, but that is not her. I mean, yeah, the chances of that happening are not
Yeah.
high.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And have you seen Janet Jackson's baby?
I haven't.
Neither have I. And I don't think nobody has.
Well,
I
she's
ain't seen a baby
smart.
yet. I ain't seen a baby. The baby ain't even seen a baby yet. So if the
We'll
baby out
we'll see
there,
the
raise your
baby at some
hand.
point.
The baby out there, raise your hand, baby.
Now that you mention it, actually.
Raise your hand, baby, if you out there. Yeah. So we don't know. I mean, we see these stories with people having kids at advanced age. A lot of times they're getting help from like science, and
Yeah,
that's not cheap.
IVF.
That is not
Yeah,
cheap. That's not cheap. People think, oh, let me go to urgent care and let me tell the doctor I need a baby. Like
yeah.
some of these IVFs and all these surrogacies, that's so expensive. Like people who
That
are
and
mhm,
freezing your eggs is expensive too.
right, right, but you can't wait until you're 52 to freeze eggs. You got to freeze your eggs at
No, no, no.
when they're healthy. You can't wait till
Yeah.
they turn into Easter eggs to want to freeze them. You can't wait until
Wow.
they got green and blue on the outside and little designs on them. That's not a design. That's like that's it's going rotten at that point. So you got to freeze the
Thank you
eggs
for your
earlier.
input. Thank
Yeah,
you for your
you
input on that.
yeah, but you can't freeze Easter eggs. YouTube cannot freeze the Easter eggs. So, but yeah, I mean she's still attractive. Um, but I just feel like people just, including myself. I'm single. YouTube, I'm single.
Me too.
But you turned down a date this weekend. You had a
Slide
date.
in his DMs.
You had a date.
Yeah. Like Tracee said, I'm not settling for just some BS now.
So
So
if he's
it is what
younger,
it
like
is.
you can't be dissing these young dudes.
No, it that wasn't the basis of us not going out. That just was an extra red
Another
flag on a
flag.
play.
Yeah, yeah, another flag
Yeah.
on the play. So yeah, and just for
Yeah, I knew that
you went
football term.
okay,
Red
okay.
flag on the
What's his
play.
okay, throw your flag. But but yeah, to Tracy, to guys, girls, your blessings. You may see
Yeah, to all
somebody
of
and
us.
you may not find them initially attractive. And when I say attractive, I'm not talking about physically.
Hmm.
But once you get to know people, you may see, hey, I can spend time with this person. I can,
Fair.
spend the rest of my life with this person. Nobody's gonna be perfect. My mom's married now. Your parents are still together. Uh, if you pulled your dad to the side, and you asked him like, what's some things you don't like about mom, he gonna give you a list that never ends. But
Laundry
he's
list.
still right. He's still with her. And the same thing with mom. If you ask mom, like, hey mom, what are some things you don't like about dad?
A
She's gonna
bigger
have
list.
a bit even bigger list. But they're still together. They love each other. They've raised children together. So nobody's gonna be perfect. I mean, my
Yeah.
grandparents are no longer living right now, but you know how old people are. They fussed. They
Yeah.
fussed. Grandma used to be walking around the house with a look on her face.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
they
very
always
true.
went back and forth, but they loved each other.
But you have to also find a person who you're willing to put up with their crap. There's been people who there's been people who I've dated that I've been willing to put up with their crap, but there's
Mhm.
been other people who I'm like, be gone. So
Yeah, right. Yeah, certain things, even with me, there's certain things like number one thing is hygiene. That's gonna be big. Clean somebody that's clean. And somebody they can tolerate with me, being dry sometimes. Sometimes I know I come on here, I laugh and talking smack, but sometimes I can be very dry. I could be dry and very direct, like very direct.
you are
And some
very
people don't like
direct.
it.
Yeah.
Some people don't like it. They don't like it.
Most women don't
So
like that, but
no,
a
of
lot
course
do.
not.
A lot do.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
um
I'm very direct.
you
So
also need somebody who can cook. Lord Jesus, please
yeah,
send me
yeah,
somebody that can cook.
yeah. I need a woman that works with Uber Eats.
No, you need a woman who knows how to turn on the stove and use it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, a woman that can cook, hygiene. Uh, and I think another thing with 2024, 2025, and just modern dating is that people need to stay off of YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. Like those are not
Yeah,
real relationships. Those are relationships that only show the highlights of
the gut
the low
parts
light. Yeah, the good parts of a
for sure.
relationship. They're not showing you the person when they wake up in the morning, the person when they're sick and they had food poisoning. You got to take care of them. they're not showing you all that.
Yeah.
That younger guy, you blocked it, you blocked your blessings. He was gonna take care of you when you had that food poison. Uh,
Blind.
so, you know, because I remember I had a coworker. I think he told me he was in a car accident or a motorcycle accident. He said he had feet issues, and he talked about his girlfriend at the time, which is now his wife, and he was talking about how she was taking care of his feet, clipping his
Yeah.
toenails, like cleaning
Hmm.
his feet. And he ended up marrying her later. But he said average woman that he was seeing at the time or during that time period was not about to play with his feet, cleaning them, cutting his toenails after a motor vehicle accident. You
Yeah.
know, most people are not going to do that. Most people that you're dating, they tell you, "Oh, I'm in an accident. I need somebody to support me or take care of me for 3 months." And you only been on 2 dates with them? Oh, you gone? You what?
Yeah. Well, it also
You're-
again depends on how much you like them too.
right,
But I'd
right.
probably be
So
gone.
yeah, most people will be gone. I'll be honest. I probably depend on how much I liked her. If she was just mid,
Right. Exactly.
you in an accident, I'm about to go on a date with this other girl right now until you
I am
feel
not
better.
clipping toe jam out your toes. Sorry.
Right, right, right. But if it's somebody that you've been with for 3 months, 6 months, and like
Yeah.
you really like
And
them,
you really like them. Yeah, you'll do
you
it.
like, oh man, this girl, she in a car accident. She need me to
Easy.
clip her toes and take her to an appointment. Yeah, I
Hmm.
take her.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. So I look at dating like, watching a 3 hour podcast versus watching the clips and the highlights of that clip. Like there's gonna be ups,
Hmm.
there's gonna be downs in a real relationship. You need to stick by that person. Because at the end of the day, it's about, developing a relationship, raising a family, and you need a mother or father that's going to be a role model to those children. Um,
Yeah.
the woman with the perfect body or the perfect Instagram page, she's probably not
Hmm.
going to be a perfect mom.
Yeah.
So
Or a perfect partner.
yeah, exactly.
But neither is the girl who looked crazy down the street. We don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it looks like Tracee Ellis Ross. Hopefully, she finds a nice 20 or
I hope
30 year
so.
old. I don't. I think you got some
Whoever
young
it
people in your
is, as long
family.
as they legal.
Yeah.
Who?
You got some. Don't you got some young men in your family? You got cousins or brothers and uncles in your
To
family
Tracee? Mm-mm, I ain't got
that's in their
nobody to
20s. You
Tracee.
don't know anybody in their 20s
Don't
that's.
you?
I
You
got
ain't
some
got no
cousins that's in
buddies.
their 20s. I got some cousins that's in their 20s. I don't know about
Well,
them
there you go.
marrying Tracee Ellis Ross, but they probably date her.
The 30-year-olds to do too, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, if she knocked on my door, I'd be like, "Yo, what's up,
She don't want to.
Tracee? Holla at me." If you see Tracee sitting in this chair next week or Wednesday, and my arm on her like this, kissing on her, she know what's up. You know what? After this interview, I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably slid in her DMs
I was gonna say you should slide in her DMs. You're not a
because
toxic man,
I'm not. Yeah,
so
I'm not
maybe you'd be up
toxic.
her
So
alley.
yeah, I don't know if she ready because I'm like I'm in shape. I'm like Rocky. I'm running up them
Go slide
stairs.
in there. She in shape
Yeah.
too.
All
Y'all
right.
might be
All
the
right.
perfect match.
All right, Miss Tracee. All right, Miss Tracee. And I need a new car. Look, Tracee, what you driving? I need to get rid of my car.
She ain't driving no sugar mama now.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So this next story is actually related to Tracee
Oh
dating
heavens.
Tracee dating these 20-year-old men. So I think it was the New York Times, New York Post. I saw this article about Gen Z women are increasingly choosing older men over guys their own age, and it's not because of financial or sugar baby, sugar daddy, but this trend has been popularized by Gen Z women because they find it more difficult to find like-minded men their own age, and they have been preferring to uh, date older guys because older guys have different political views and different values. So with Tracee,
Hmm.
she wanted younger men, but a lot of Gen Z women are, I think, 16 to 29. They want guys a little bit more mature, a little bit more stable, and don't have those toxic traits that younger guys are having. And one of the things that the article mentioned is, I don't want to say his name, but Tate. A lot of guys have been quoting Andrew Tate while on dates. You're looking confused.
Is that a code name?
No, that's a person.
Oh,
So, so it's a person that's been popularized on social media, who's been known for, I guess, having opinions that are not very popular with the other gender, so with women. And a lot of younger
okay. I
guys
don't
have
know
been
this guy.
like, yeah, I mean, I just learned about him recently, but he's been saying a lot of, I guess, things that are considered toxic to women, and a lot of younger guys have been listening. But overall, Gen Z women
Of
are
course.
they've been dating um, older men. Um,
Yeah.
you prefer older men, so I can understand. Do you know any Gen Z women that in your family that you see or you talk to that are dating guys who are 6 years, 7 years their senior, or even 10 years their senior?
Yeah. I definitely know a couple of millennials, including myself, but I feel
Mhm,
like a lot of women tend to lean towards
mhm.
men who are their age or older. You typically don't hear many women say that they're going to choose to date a man that's younger unless they are just like a straight up cougar. They're older and, they're trying to have some fun. But
Tracy,
I think in
Tracy,
what
Tracy.
about Tracy?
She a
uh,
cougar.
I guess when I think of like a true cougar, I'm talking about like 70, dating somebody who's
Oh
30, 40.
no,
That's what I'm saying, cougar. But
that's I think they call those gilfs.
oh no. I've never heard of that, but I thought cougar was an appropriate term. I feel like we've just used cougar for anything, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I think most women prefer an older man because women tend to be have a little more of a mature
Yeah,
mindset.
I agree.
Um, so sometimes it can be just the better option versus dating younger. So I'd be interested to see if this applies to millennial too, or if millennials are dating people closer to their said age.
Yeah, yeah. And when I read the article, this isn't new. Women have always dated men older than themselves. My mom's
Mm.
husband is older than her. I don't know if your dad's older than your mom. Um, but I think my granddad was definitely older than my grandmother. Uh, but Gen Z, like I said, is what 16 to I think 29. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, they want guys that are more mature, guys that are going to be in a more better position economically. So
Mhm.
it's no issue with it. I don't even know why this was even a news story.
Yeah, right. Because I don't see it. I mean, my parents are, I think they're like 1 or 2 years apart. So I guess they're
Mhm,
closer in age, but
mhm,
I really don't know too many women who date someone who's like 5 years younger. I've dated someone who
mhm,
was 1 year younger than me
mhm.
before, but that's the youngest I've ever dated.
So you say so blocking blessings, but yeah, this isn't a news story. I mean, I think in the article it had a picture of a woman who looked like she was in her 20s, so probably 27, 25, and she was with a guy that was probably in his 40s.
um,
Um, so do your thing. My
women like
Kaya
stability,
block
though.
her blessings.
Women like stability, and
Mhm.
I mean, let's think about it. Most people in their 20s, period, whether you're a woman or a man, you're still figuring out life. So,
Yeah, yeah. And you don't have the money you don't have money in your 20s.
yeah.
Um, I remember talking to friends of mine when I was coming out of college, and they were going on dates and they were counting pennies and counting
Yeah.
dollars. I
Yep.
mean, like, oh, can I take her to the movies? I only got $40 in my bank. Like,
I hope she
when
don't get
you,
popcorn. Yeah. Yeah.
I hope she don't get them snacks.
Yes.
So, as you get older, you're not worried about her going to the movies and ordering snacks because shit, order the snacks. I'm gonna order the snacks too because I
Right.
want some.
Exactly.
So,
And if
I
he
mean,
ain't got it, she gonna have it. She gonna order her
right,
own snacks if he ain't got it. So,
right. So I think the best thing with these last two stories is just date who you like,
yeah,
not
do what works
who
for you.
Yeah, not worry about what social media is saying, what your friends are saying. Date who you like. If you miss Tracee and you 50 some years old and you want to date a guy that's 25, if I was 25 years old and Tracee Ellis was coming to talk to me,
You'd
I'd
be
be
fine.
all on her. Be
Yeah.
all on her. Listen, I'm gonna bring it to the family reunion. I'm tell my mom, look, mom, my mother gonna look at me funny because she may be close to my mama's age, but
Right. At least she got some
but
bread. So.
yeah. So yeah, but date who you like. I mean, that's what it, if you like younger, older, do what makes you happy, and nobody can complain. So yeah, that was our last story. Do you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think we had a good discussion today.
Yeah, definitely a good discussion. So if you enjoyed our conversation, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Next episode will be here Wednesday. Tune in and listen to our chat. So thank you for joining Sigh of Relief. We're out.